economic development. This is a continuing discussion on economic development with input from the public and some highlighted speakers. And we'll go through that first, and then we'll have opportunity for a break if we so need one at that point, and then we will reconvene for further discussion, etc., taking us up to the noon hour. And then as you can see on your agenda, we have an afternoon budget session also. So this again is a continuation on discussions on economic development and input from the board of where we want to go, etc., etc. So with that, I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Supervisor Delbar?
Yep.
Supervisor Tenches?
Here.
Supervisor Smith? Here. Supervisor Colfax?
Yes.
Chair Wattenberger?
Here. Thank you very much. So at this point, that being the extent of my opening statements, I'll turn it over to the CEO's office and Ms. Allison Glassy.
Thank you very much. Allison Glassy, Assistant Chief Executive Officer for the county. And being told I should stand up here. Anyway, I want to welcome the speakers and the board to this. It's called a workshop, but basically what I would call it is a conversation. And it's a continuation of a conversation that we started in March at the March 17th workshop with the board. And it's a discussion that focuses on economic development, what economic development means, what it means in a county like Mendocino County, a rural county, a transitional economy, and what the role of county government is in economic development. There are a wide range of understandings of what that role actually is, and particularly for a county with limited resources, which makes economic development a necessity from the county standpoint and from the standpoint of the individuals living in this county. But at the same time, there are issues around what is an appropriate role for government and how you encourage economic development while keeping that kind of objective distance. And those are all questions that have kind of been swirling around for quite a few years in Mendocino County as far as what ought to be done and planned in that area. So what the executive office did in response to the work plan that the Board of Supervisors adopted in January for this year was to look at a series of conversations around economic development. We kind of kicked that off on March 17th with a series of local speakers speaking to local agencies and local discussions that had been occurring in the arena of economic development. Now what we have are a trio of people with extensive background and background outside of Mendocino County to speak to these exact issues of regional change and rural economic development. We may have a couple more, at least one more, but maybe some other speakers over the next several months, and then it will culminate in a workshop in the fall where we'll actually discuss where the board wants to go with economic development. In other words, it's kind of a setup, if you will, kind of a year-long discussion so that this next year, in 2009, we're in a position to know where to direct our energy and our resources in this particular area. So this is part of an overall plan, and as I said, it's a series of discussions. And the hope is, after the presentations, that there will be interaction among the board members and with the speakers and whoever happens to be in the audience around what thoughts are generated by what the speakers say and what ideas people have for further information, further questions, further discussions. So that's the framework that we're dealing with this morning. And what I'd like to do now is to introduce John Harper, who is our, I think we were trying to call you the roadie in terms of setting up this show and making it possible. He can draw on the vast resources of the University of California and connect them up with a small county like Mendocino County. And I really appreciate the work that you've done in making this possible.
new area for me to delve into this economic development side, although we try to help the livestock producers in the county do so. But it was quite a challenge, but I've always said to the members of the board and to the CEO's office to think of the cooperative extension as the open door to the university. And so this is our first real time where Allison took me up on that claim. So I really appreciate that opportunity. And I think we'll be pleased with today's program. We have 3 speakers. First off, I have my crib notes so that I get everything right here. Kathleen Moxon, she's currently Director of the Community Strategies for Humboldt Area Foundation, and she's been working on regional economic development since 1996. The ringer that we brought in, that wasn't on the original agenda, is John Melville. He's the co-founder of Collaborative Economics, strategic advisor to several regions across California, the author of 2 books on civic entrepreneurship, and he's a